In this video, I'm going to show you how one of the members of our Discord group recently earned $17,000 from a $250 investment, specifically from something I said in a past video that was posted right here on the channel. Now before I continue, to get any lawyers off my back, this video is definitely not financial advice. It is purely educational to teach you stuff that you may not already know. In fact, all I'm aiming is to be a bright light as we go down this rabbit hole together. Welcome to Whiteboard Crypto, the #1 YouTube channel for crypto education, and here we explain topics of the cryptocurrency world using analogies, stories, and examples so that you can easily understand them. In this video, we're going to be explaining how to make money with crypto, specifically in the least riskiest way possible, using something that is so new that the hedge funds haven't diluted the free money. This new thing is called DeFi. Now before we continue, I want to share with you something that I have learned by calling a bunch of our Discord members personally. Almost everyone that I've talked to initially thought that to make money with crypto, they would have to buy it and sell it. You know, buy it low, wait for Elon to make a tweet about it, and then sell for a nice and comfy profit. To me, this is kind of sad because most people lose money with this route. It's also sad because there's a much better route, one that you just have to be introduced to, and then immediately your eyes are opened. I'm here to open that new world to you, to show you how I'm currently making money with my crypto, but in a way that it won't even matter if there's a 50% dip tomorrow. In fact, if there is a dip, I'll probably make even more money. Let's dig in. Number 1, lending. The first way to make money in DeFi is by lending, and this means letting other people borrow your crypto. Now I know what you're thinking. I already knew about that. There's BlockFi referral links everywhere. Now this is not DeFi. In fact, this is CeFi. DeFi stands for decentralized finance, which is a fancy way of saying it's not controlled by anyone. You actually control your own money, you can move it when you want, immediately, and without anyone approving it. With a company like BlockFi, you are actually giving them your crypto. And I think they have like a 24-hour waiting period to withdraw, and technically they have to approve it. Nevertheless, their current rates are like around 7%, and with those you might as well just invest in the stock market, right? Even worse, I've noticed they've been lowering their rates. The reason you see them all around YouTube is probably because they offer a decent affiliate bonus. Anyways, it is not uncommon to see 30% or higher rates in DeFi, and I can personally guarantee you that if I were BlockFi, I would take your money and invest it in these 30% platforms, and then I'd give you the 7% back, earning a ridiculous profit without telling you. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but that's what I would do. Let me explain a little bit more. Here are 3 benefits to lending with true DeFi. Number 1 is higher rates. So DeFi will probably always have higher rates than traditional finance. And this is true for many reasons, of which the big one is who can access them. For example, my grandma can walk into a bank and say she wants to save some money and earn an interest rate, but she definitely cannot install MetaMask or deposit her money into Curve Finance. Another big reason is that there's constantly more and more money being thrown into crypto and decentralized finance projects. As more money is being thrown into it, it's gotta go somewhere. In fact, in some places, money is literally being given out for free simply for letting people use their applications, but we're going to talk about this later on in the video. To wrap up my point here, 30% APY is very common in DeFi, while some other projects offer up to 100% just for lending out your tokens. Secondly, my favorite benefit of decentralized finance is the control that you have over your money. If I deposit my money to BlockFi, they own the money. They technically could send it to some company overseas, get sued by the US, declare bankruptcy, and then there would be some guy on a yacht somewhere smiling that my crypto bought him a $100 steak or something. With DeFi, the only person who can send your funds is the person with the private keys. And as long as you don't share your private keys with anyone else, that person is only you. In fact, the government can't even step in and be like, we're taking your crypto. Unless they can force the private key out of you, there's nothing they can do to get it. So along with DeFi lending offering much higher rates and having 100% complete control over your money, let's get into the last part, which is what makes this much safer than any other lending platform. The third benefit of lending out your crypto in DeFi is that it's all collateralized. You know how in 2008 we had something called the big mortgage crisis? To sum it up, this happened because a lot of people were taking out loans that they could never pay back. To put it bluntly, you cannot do this in crypto. In fact, every crypto loan is collateralized. To be even more technical, they are what is called over-collateralized. Now you might be wondering, what does this mean and why? Well, it means that if you want to borrow $100 of Ethereum, you must first deposit $120. This way, if something like the mortgage crisis happens and prices get all wonky or you can't pay it back, the lender will always have access to your initial deposit. If there's ever a point in time where what you borrowed is less than what you have deposited to back it, you will be liquidated, meaning you'll get to keep the money you borrowed, but the initial investment will be given back to the lender. For us, this means that if we want to lend out our crypto, there will always be money backing it. Now, if you want to know why you would deposit $120 just to borrow $100, the answer is pretty simple. Maybe you want to deposit Ethereum and then borrow USDC. You are actually creating a leveraged position. Or maybe you want to do it the other way around and deposit USDC and borrow Ethereum, creating a margin position. Either way, it means that for us lenders, we make money for the rates that the borrowers pay us, and the risk is super low. But this is already getting probably too confusing if you're new to this, so let's move on. There are actually two big lending applications in the DeFi world, and they are called Aave and Compound. But this video is just to lead you down that rabbit hole. If you want your hand held, well, you'll just have to stick around to the end of this video and I might give you that option. The next way to make money after lending is something called providing liquidity. Now generally, providing liquidity is a little more risky, but let me explain to you what it actually means. In the old financial world, the way we sold things like stocks was literally to match a buyer with a seller. A buyer put up an order and they said something like, I want to buy 5 stocks for $100. And then they just had to wait around for some seller to agree to them. And then the trade would happen. In crypto, we have really smart people using code and programming to make this process way better. In the world of DeFi, we use special algorithms, and I have specific videos on how they work, broken down so simple that even you could understand them. If you want to check them out, they're in the description below. Anyways, in the crypto world, we use pools of money. So if you want to make a trade, you go to the pool of money and you say, I have this much money, how many doggy tokens can you give me? Then it does some math and tells you. After that, you can either agree or decline. But the big question is, how do you make money with this? Well, it's simple. You give your money to the pool. Since every trader who makes a trade using that pool pays a fee, that fee is going to go straight to you. You'll be earning free money, very similar to how lending works. Now the downside is that there's this big nasty scary thing called impermanent loss, which means if one of the tokens you gave to the pool goes way up or drops a bunch, you will not have made as much money if you had just instead held both of those tokens. So you're trading off potential upside and downside for the trading fee that you will earn. In many cases, the trading fee you earn for lending your money to the pool is much more than impermanent loss. Nevertheless, we're here to deliver value, so let's go over 3 specific ways you can provide liquidity starting from the least riskiest. The least riskiest is providing liquidity to stable coins. So this is the safest option, and this is because the price of both of these tokens will hopefully always equal $1, meaning that you won't gain any price appreciation and that the value of your initial deposit will remain stable. What I mean by this is that you can deposit Tether, or USDT, and USD coin together to let people trade them back and forth with your money. For example, some guy might come along and want USDT, but has USDC, so he trades. Then maybe some other guy will come along and make the reverse trade, and all the while they're paying small fees that you will earn. So even if the crypto market tanks 50% or even 80%, you'll still have your initial deposit without a fear of losing it in a crypto crash, since technically the stablecoins should stay at $1. Next up, a little more riskier, you can provide liquidity to strong assets that are somewhat tied to each other. This way you still have exposure to these coins, and you also are earning the trading fees. The Curve Finance pool called Atri Crypto is a great example. You deposit 33% stablecoins, 33% Ethereum, and 33% Bitcoin, and then earn the fees that traders pay to make swaps with your money. Now generally, Ethereum and Bitcoin will trade together, as they are both large cryptocurrencies. By doing this, you can actually reduce your risk of one of these coins completely collapsing. You'll also earn a decent fee because there's a lot of people trading in between these 3 tokens all day long. Finally, if you really want to ape into DeFi and earn some crazy fees like 400%, you can provide liquidity to tokens that are much riskier. Usually, unprecedented rewards are given to incentivize people to provide liquidity to either new tokens or risky tokens. The trade-off is that you get to earn a very high percentage rate However, you risk one of those tokens in the pool dropping in price significantly. It's also worth noting that when providing liquidity, you're exposed to that magical effect I mentioned earlier that hardly any beginners actually understand, called impermanent loss. This happens when you provide liquidity and the total value of your share is less than if you had simply just held the tokens that you provided. It matters most when the price of a token doubles or drops by more than 25%. If you're interested, I've actually coded a unique calculator to help people understand how it works. You can Google impermanent loss calculator and then simply find our whiteboardcrypto.com website, and by doing so, you'll actually be helping out our website on Google too, so thanks. Anyways, on that page, I spent a lot of time making it so simple so that any beginner could read through it, test out the calculator, and hopefully get a decent understanding of what impermanent loss actually is. Oh, by the way, we still gotta get to how that one viewer earned $17,000. But first, I need to have a talk with you about something. Now, I must say if you've enjoyed this video so far, you're going to absolutely love what else I have in store. If you want a full DeFi for beginners guide, I've actually just created one for free. You can go to whiteboardcrypto.com, enter your email, and you'll be sent a link to enroll. Now I know what you're wondering, why the email? Well, we also have a newsletter, and along with that newsletter, I've set something up called incentivized learning. This means to get people excited about crypto technology and the DeFi world, when you get the newsletter, there's a quiz at the end. If you're one of the first few people to actually read through the newsletter and correctly answer the questions in the quiz, I will personally send you some free crypto. Actually, this last week, we gave away $1,000 to the lucky learners. Anyways, if that isn't enough to convince you, we also have a Discord with a few other giveaways, a super helpful community, and in the future we plan to do AMAs and maybe live streams, but specifically on the Discord platform. Enough shilling of our high-value newsletter and the world's best free DeFi guide. Let's get into another way that you can make money with DeFi. The last one is called incentives. Now this one's really simple, but the thing is, you just have to know about it. For this section, I'm going to explain two different options. One is incentives, and the other is airdrops. So let's imagine you're in charge of advertising a blockchain network so that people will know more about it and actually try to use it. The question is, how do you do that? Well, you could buy a billboard, and it might work, but the issue is 99% of people that see that billboard will not know anything about crypto because we're so early to this space. Another thing you could try is try to buy ads on the internet. And the issue with this is that there were a ton of scams that happened in 2017 and 2018 because people would just run ads for their scam, cash out, and then hide for the rest of eternity. So a lot of places on the internet do not allow crypto ads. Even more so, we can just assume that TV ads and radio ads won't work. So what's the answer? How do you advertise it? Well, what if you just took that advertising money and literally gave it to the people using your blockchain? This way, they get excited and they tell their friends and family, and you can literally prove that your marketing dollars are working because they have to use the blockchain to get the money. This is exactly what is happening right now in the crypto world. In fact, one blockchain called Avalanche announced something called the Avalanche Rush Incentive Program, where they're basically giving away a bunch of free tokens just for using the blockchain. When they launched it, the total amount was worth around $180 million. But now, because the price of the token increased, it's valued at over $720 million. The Near blockchain also just announced an $800 million incentive program too. The Phantom Network is taking a different approach by offering millions of dollars to developers to create certain applications on their blockchain. Basically, money is being given out to people just for using the blockchains and trying out the platforms for free, and you can be one of those people. If you want the specifics of how to actually do this, sign up to that newsletter I mentioned before. But speaking of trying out platforms, the second part of this includes airdrops. And this is exactly how that one viewer who watched a video spent $250 and then turned it into $17,000. By the way, it's actually on the blockchain. You can view the page where he made the money. Let me explain this in a simple way. Let's say you're a company but you want to go public. You sell your shares, and people who buy your shares get access to the company's profits. But even more importantly, they get a vote in the decisions of the company. And if you hold a large enough amount, your decisions really matter. For crypto applications, they don't have companies or a stock. Instead, they have tokens. So if you hold a bunch of tokens, you get some of the profit from the platform, and you also get to make decisions about the platform moving forward. A few weeks ago, a platform called ENS launched a token so that the holders could make decisions to their platform. Instead of straight up just selling it to people, they just said, hey, we're going to take a look at people who have actually used our platform, and then we're going to give those users our tokens. And that is what they did. This is called an airdrop. Everyone who used the platform before a specific date earned these free tokens. Personally, I got 213 tokens, and I sold them within a few hours for a nice 5 grand. Now here's the issue. If I had held them, they'd be worth a lot more. But I incorrectly assumed if everyone was getting 5 grand, that everyone else would sell too. And maybe they did. But big companies like Coinbase and other large market movers bought up all these tokens. And because of this, the price spiked all the way up to $80 per token. One of our viewers who contacted me on Discord said he sold his 200-ish tokens for a nice $17,000 during the peak price. To me, it was actually surreal when he said these exact words. It was because of your ENS video that I bought my domain. Anyways, this is actually the second valuable airdrop that I have ever received. The first was for using a blockchain bridge, which we have a video on, and that airdrop was worth around $1,500. Now, wrapping this up, there is so much money being moved into the crypto and blockchain space that just by being around and keeping your eyes open, you can probably earn a decent amount of money. The trade-off is that as more people get into the space, these incentives, these airdrops, and even the lending rates will start to drop. Another thing is there will also be scams. And I do want to say regarding that, I want to make a quick note that I will never contact you in the comments below. Those people are scammers and impersonators. Also, I highly recommend never to reach out to anyone in the YouTube comments. They are there to take your money. We do have a video on interesting crypto scams coming up, so if you aren't subscribed, definitely hit that subscription button. Hopefully my videos have been helpful to you, and if they have, you can support us by clicking that like button. Or you can watch some of the other videos on our channel and go down the rabbit hole of DeFi. I promise you'll learn something new. I also want to say one last thing ending this video. As a disclaimer, don't think that I made this video to take a dump on BlockFi. I think that they are needed to get people interested in crypto. But if you have the knowledge, BlockFi is simply a third party taking your money, making more money on it, and then happily giving some back to you. I think they're like a highway on-ramp. We need them for mass adoption. Anyways, as we end this video, we hope that you enjoyed it, we really hope that you've learned something, and most of all, we hope to see you on the other videos in our channel.